Hello everyone, my name is Jungwon Jaman and I am a co-chair associate director at large for AIA Florida. Welcome to another installment of AIA's Florida Friday Facts, where I cover and attempt to summarize AIA Florida and AIA in general related topics of the week, and sometimes some random article that I may find interesting. This week's topics include only the AIA Florida Friday Facts. And for that, we have an update on the Surfside Condo collapse, and it may trigger new legislation and standards. A notice about getting ready for the new storm season, the hurricane season. A notice on the Florida Caribbean Architect magazine. Understanding building requirements through the Florida Building Code, and a notice on particular and certain window manufacturers and what they may be saying. An update on the People's Choice Award, a JLI update, as well as a few reminders of the typical weekly topics. NCARB also, it's inducting the first Latino president, as well as resolving the Sunset Interior Design Resolution, and a few other options to be active within the community, particularly the National Associate Committee and the Young Architect Forum committees. I also highlight some of the resources that the AIA continues to be putting out there for the membership to use, and that is the continuity of business, as well as a reminder that you may always apply for the ARE scholarship. That is, of course, if you need it in order to pass your test, or if you're in the process of doing so. Finally, I close it out with some component events and some other news about more ARE resources that will be coming up this week, as well as for the entire month. But before we get into all that, a quick disclaimer. Some of the information I am presenting is from a personal point of view, and it may not completely line up with AIA Florida stance or any other entity that may appear within the video. I will make the effort to make it clear when I'm expressing personal opinions, and any business that I mention within the video does not mean an endorsement, full endorsement, nor am I getting paid to promote them. I'm just sharing the information as I see it coming. Lawmakers, Surfside Condo collapse may trigger new legislation standards. Just as other building collapses and natural disasters in Florida led to new laws and standards, lawmakers say to expect the deadly collapse in Surfside to have the same results. And I quote, "We should at least be looking at two things: the actual physical structure itself, the design and material used, and the accelerated environmental conditions that are affecting these buildings near the beach," end quote. Senator Jason Pizzo, Democrat, North Miami Beach. He told the USA Today Network of Florida. His district includes Surfside and 14 other Miami-Dade County cities, most of them filled with high-rise condos. And I quote from him again, "We have to have certification statewide, especially in coastal areas," end quote. Governor Ron DeSantis says it is important to review eventual findings by the National Institute of Standards and Technology before next steps. That agency has investigated 4 major deadly events in the past 20 years, including the 2001 collapse of the World Trade Center towers. And a quote from DeSantis, "It is something that's going to be very thorough, and is something that is not going to happen in a day or two. This is going to take a long time. We've pledged at the state, if they need support from engineers, from experts, whatever they need, we're here to help." And of course, if you'd like to learn a little bit more, there's a link here as shown in the email itself, which will take you to this website on an article from the Herald Tribune that'll goes a little bit deeper into what lawmakers are considering to do. And some of that information that's here that I think it's key is that they're looking at potentially reducing the time frame by which those buildings need to be recertified. On a little bit of side note, something that I heard, I haven't quite been able to confirm, but at the very least here in Palm Beach, they are considering implementing some of these recertification of high-rise buildings, which currently do not exist in Palm Beach County. I think this is a bit of a wake-up call for at least our county and hopefully everyone else within the state that they should require some recertification of buildings, as some of these lawmakers are stating. The time frame that should be implemented, well, that's open to discussion. Of course, my personal take is that maybe 40 years is too much, although 5 years seems way too short of a time frame. Once again, this is something I overheard on an article. I would say something like 20 years or so seems reasonable for a very thorough study and recertification. But again, that is my 2 cents on that. Well, we need to start getting ready for storms. 2 state agencies are encouraging the state's business owners to prepare for potential natural disasters, especially during hurricane season, and even more especially with a named storm already spinning in the Atlantic. Hurricane Elsa has almost the entire state of Florida in the cone of uncertainty, so now is a good time to look at floridadisaster.biz, a website that's a partnership between the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity and the Florida Division of Emergency Management. And I quote, "Floridians are resilient, but it's imperative that Florida businesses are able to reopen after a disaster as quickly as possible. Floridadisaster.biz is an excellent resource for Floridians to prepare, stay informed, and receive disaster recovery assistance in the event our state is impacted by a storm," end quote, said the Secretary of the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity, Dane Eagle. A solid disaster plan can reduce the financial and physical impacts of a natural disaster. 2 other resources for business owners are ready.gov and floridadisaster.org. The floridadisaster.biz website looks somewhat like this, so if you follow one of the links provided below, you'll be presented with something like this. Of course, you can always register to some of these websites, and they have resources on how to prepare, how to respond, how to recover, and some other contact options for you there. The Florida Caribbean Architect magazine summer edition is out, and there's a look at the leadership of Vicky Long within that issue. The issue should be in your mailbox by now. I personally received mine. As I mentioned, features a look at the leadership Executive Vice President and CEO Vicky Long, CAE Honorary AIA, as well as profiles of large projects around the region. For those eagle-eyed readers, they may notice that on page 23 of the magazine, there's an article about Renzo Piano Building Workshop and Stantec's Condo project, 87 Park. Within that shot, that image, you can see the building next door, the Chaplain Towers South Condominium, that collapsed just days after the issue Florida Caribbean Architect went to press. It's a bit of a show on how quickly things can turn around and, well, how quickly things can change, really. And as of the recording of this video, and I believe it was actually on the 4th of July, that sadly the remaining standing tower needed to be demolished, particularly when we have a storm coming around as just mentioned earlier in this video, Hurricane Elsa, it's coming down on us, potentially. So that is the end of that part, and we'll move on to the next topic here. The Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, or FDACS, and Understanding Building Requirements. The Florida Building Code, which was first established in March of 2002, and a little input here, that's just 19 years ago. It's not very long. Anyways, the Florida Building Code creates a single minimum building code that is enforced by local governments. It includes provisions that are designed to help protect property from damaging wind events, including provisions for impact-resistant windows. The Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services says there have been reports of third-party window retailers misleading consumers into purchasing impact-resistant windows when they may not be required, particularly for residential properties. Some retailers have told consumers it would be illegal for them to sell any window in Florida that was not impact resistant. The Florida building code requirements can be amended by local governments to be more restrictive than the statewide code. And with that, you may check with your local building officials about what's required in certain areas. So this is a bit of a notice here on everyone that's working on projects to make sure that you have your client's best interest in terms of safety, and make sure that they understand what is required, what its minimum, and what your recommendation is. I think the best way we can help our clients is by being open with them, making sure that they fully understand what is the minimum and yet what can actually be better for themselves and for the building. You can also read more at one of the links provided, where we have that link provided on this particular article. It's Understanding Building Requirements. It is a PDF on sheet 4 out of the 6 available here. It gives a quick sort of history of the building code, but then it highlights what a response to what some of the manufacturers have been saying apparently. And that part is that the Florida Building Code includes provisions that are designed to help protect property from damaging wind events, and in many instances, impact-resistant windows are a viable option for meeting those requirements. However, the Florida Building Code provides for the use of wood structural panels under certain circumstances to meet the established protection standards. This is once again a reminder to make sure you look at the code, look at what's the minimum, what is requirement, both at state level as well as your local jurisdiction. The Jacob Leadership Institute, or JLI, holds the final training session. The JLI students, class of 2021, gathered this week at Dwell Design Studio, an architecture firm in Orlando, for their 6th and final training session. Kicking off the training was a virtual presentation by Tampa Mayor Jane Castor, who talked to the students about her 31 years of experience on the Tampa police force, including being the first female police chief, and then as the 59th mayor of Tampa. Mayor Castor emphasized the importance of listening with focus to help guide decisions that are in the best interest of those you lead. She also focused her thoughts on the importance of good character, recognizing your biases and how to handle them, and while always being willing to learn and grow. Following Mayor Castor, the students were given a worksheet with descriptions of various types of employees and were asked to identify them as studs, high performers, duds, low performers, or slugs, middle performers. Once the fictional employees were rated, the group discussed the rankings and how to best lead the various types of employees. Students will convene once more at AIA's Florida Annual Convention, being held in Orlando, July 15th through the 18th, for the graduation ceremony at the General Sessions on Friday, July 16th, which is being led by Mickey Jacob, FAIA. We'd like to take a moment to congratulate the 2021 graduating class of the Jacob Leadership Institute, and they are Didier, and I apologize because I will be mispronouncing some of these names, and so I apologize ahead of time. I will do my best. Dieter Burrell, AIA NCARB, Arlen Gill, AIA NCARB, Naxi Harris, AIA Lead AP and NCARB, Peter Hauerstein, AIA, Ariadna Musara, AIA, Todd Perodin, AIA, Ryan Richards, AIA Lead AP, Rebecca Sanchez, Associate AIA, Lauren Shields, Associate AIA, Daniel Villa, AIA, Betsy Young. Let's give it another shot here. Betsy Yankopoulos, Associate AIA, Seth Yeslow, AIA NCARB, and Chris Zimmerman, AIA. I'd like to point out here that Seth Yeslow, AIA and NCARB, he has been given ARE prep courses for many years, and so this is highlighting that the Jacob Leadership Institute, it's not only for newcomers or young professionals, but rather it's a great program for anyone at any point in their career to learn more, to expand their knowledge base and become better leaders than they already may be. And that'll be the plug for the JLI. So make sure that the next potential sign-up period that you are at least considering being a part of this great program. NCARB inducts first Latino president. Alfred Vidaurri Jr., NCARB NOMA FAIA of Fort Worth, Texas, was inducted as the president of the National Council of Architectural Registration Boards at the 2021 business meeting. He is the first Latino president of NCARB's history. And I quote, "I'm honored to be the first Latino president in this organization's 102-year history, but I look forward to the day when we no longer have to call out the first or the second or the third, but can celebrate the vision of the individual." During his term as president, Vidaurri will focus on two issues: how the path to earning an architecture license should evolve to meet the needs of the future, and how NCARB can support greater equity, diversity, and inclusion, or EDI, along that path. The link to an article about this announcement, it's once again provided in the link below. But there's a bit of a highlight that I would like to mention here that I found interesting, that it is being explored, and that is the Tri-National Agreement, which is essentially a pilot program that facilitates reciprocal licensure among the United States, Canada, and Mexico. I think that is a great initiative. I'll be looking to learning a little bit more about that, and it kind of starts opening the door for many people who may want to come or go between one of these countries. Makes it easier to practice architecture in any one of these three countries. Get a guide to business continuity. Floods, cyber attacks, and the unexpected loss of a team member can easily interrupt operations for any firm. Will you be able to provide clients with the assurance that work will continue despite a disruption? Updated for the year 2021, the Architect's Guide to Business Continuity helps firms become more resilient with a step-by-step process and accompanying worksheets for assessing and reducing risks associated with disruption. The links will take you to this particular webpage on the AIA.org website, titled Architect's Guide to Business Continuity, Guidance for Reducing and Recovering from Firm Disruption. It gives a quick introduction there on using the guide and the accompanying worksheets to understand the element of a business continuity plan and how it reduces risk and protects profits. The inventory the resources that enable your firm to run, anticipate the financial, legal, brand, and operational consequences of disruption, develop a recovery strategy and solutions to enable the firm to maintain functionality despite disruption. It assesses hazard and climate risks that can disrupt your ability to conduct business, and to develop a risk treatment plan to reduce the chances of disruption and to minimize the impacts caused by disruption. Lower on the webpage, you will find a few links. A couple of them are Excel sheets, step 1, which is the business continuity planning process, and steps 2 through 5 of the business continuity planning process. Just a quick peek to what some of these PDFs looks like. This is the Architect's Guide to Business Continuity. It is a 90-page PDF walking you through some of the resources and some of the resources and guidance into what these things mean. Quite a few little graphics there, some worksheets, checklists, more checklists, and so on. This is a prepare mitigating risks. This is a shorter PDF file that looks to be a checklist as well. And then the responding to a disruption worksheet. This is a 13-page worksheet with some checklist, step-by-step process, and some resource for you there. This is yet again another example of the myriad of information and resources that the AIA offers its members for free or as part of being an AIA member. And it's just so many of the resources that are out there that sometimes we don't recognize it, we don't see it, we don't know about it. So here's another opportunity for you to see the value of AIA and being a member of it. And so we'll be closing out with a few reminders and updates on regular topics here on a weekly basis that comes up. Coral Gables leads People's Choice voting. Once again, the museum, which is a converted police and fire station, is leading the voting in the 2021 People's Choice competition on adaptive reuse. Time is running out to vote, so please go and cast your votes. As we continue looking through the email here, we have the Foundation for Architecture holding that raffle. Once again, that is a reminder that it is happening. You may take a look at some of the previous videos where I go into it a little bit deeper, and links available for you to sign up on those, which is similar to what I have for the AIA convention. I've posted a few videos on some of the sessions that are available. I encourage you to look through those. On the boards, this is a constant reminder that the AIA, and in particular the Florida Caribbean Architect, is always looking for submissions on your projects on any topic that you would like to have a sort of a speakerphone to it. The magazine goes out to all members, and the magazine is always looking for content to share with the membership. And NCARB reminder is that the NCARB has resolved to sunset interior design resolution, and the NCARB resolved on its June 25th meeting to sunset resolution 2000-1, opposing the licensing of interior design. The sunset resolution passed a 50-2 and means that NCARB will no longer actively oppose efforts to license interior designers, and this took effect July 1st. We're also another reminder of some opportunities to be involved within the community are the NAC and the YAF advisory committees, which are the National Associates Committee and the Young Architects Forum, that are looking for volunteers who want to be the catalyst for change and positively impact the architecture profession. This is a great opportunity to develop leadership skills, network with peers, and advocate for the profession and the changes that you would like to see within that profession. The deadline to submit is August 6th at 11:59 Eastern Time. And then for information, you may email emergingprofessionals@aia.org. Finally, you may also apply for AIARE scholarships. Applications are open through August 27th for the 2021 Jason Pettigrew Memorial ARE Scholarship. You may apply at any point before the deadline for a grant covering the full costs of the architect registration exams, as well as study materials and access to Archi Prep. And the July events calendar. For Saturday the 10th, we have AIA Fort Lauderdale with ARE study sessions. And then AIA Miami has the Architects in the Making Summer Camp, which goes from Monday the 12th all the way through Friday the 23rd. Along the way, there's also the AIA Florida Convention, which starts on Thursday, July 15th, as has been mentioned before, and it ends on Sunday, July 18th. There's also some AIA Miami Continuing Education webinar, as well as the Northwest Continuing Education Lunch in Pensacola on July the 20th. July 21st, we have also the AIA Florida Northwest Continuing Education Lunch. And on July 27th, there's an AIA Jacksonville chapter program. I'd like to take the moment here while we're talking about the calendar to just say an announcement that I will be taking a couple of weeks off from the Friday Facts, as I will be attending the convention and trade show in Florida, in Orlando, and I will not be able to record something, particularly because I will be going on vacation that Monday on the 19th, and I will be coming back the following week. So I will be missing a few weeks here of the Friday Facts, and we'll see you back then after that. And so we'll move on to some other news around the AIA in general. AIA Tampa Bay is presenting a 2021 ARE Virtual Study Series. Guest speaker is Gloria Cloter, AIA, NCARB, and Codia, CODIA. She's an award-winning architect, founder, and CEO of Glow Architects, and a keynote speaker. A little bit more of a background of her, because I've met her personally. She is originally from the Dominican Republic, and then she practices in the Tampa area, as you can see there. She has also been a speaker at the Young Architect with Michael Risica and some of his events, and the Young Architect Summer Series events or Winter Series. Anyways, some of those. She's a great person. I think she will be doing a great service, and I appreciate her taking the time out of her busy schedule to help out the community and have this presentation for those of us who are still going through the ARE process. Look at the links down below. Make sure you sign up and register for this great event. It will be well worth your time. Miami is also holding an ARA study session. This one is going to be on a Saturday, and it's going to be joint a Miami and a Lauderdale events. This is going to be focused on practice management. It will cost money to attend, but I believe they have prices for those who meet certain requirements. So I would encourage you all to at least consider attending these. If you are a AIA member, you should be able to get it for $5, and non-members is $15. And as mentioned within the title, this is going to be a practice management ARA study session. I would encourage you to consider attending that as well. On another ARA prep resource, we have our friend from ARAquestions.com, Elif Bayram. She's opening a series of webinars, of 5 series, in the month of July. She held a Q&A for us about a month or so earlier. And once again, I encourage everyone to consider having this as part of their study material, as part of their resources. Please look her up. She's an amazing person, and she has created some great resources. Sadly, by the time when you hear this, it may be full. Hopefully not, but make sure that you stay on top of it, as I believe it is definitely worth your time. That'll do it for what's happening around the community. Once again, thank you for your time. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.